So, guys, moving on. 2018 is coming to a close. We're going to break down our best and our worst of 2018. Movies, television, comic books. Shauna,
Woohoo!
I'm going to let you go ahead and kick this off. What were some of your best and worst in the category of movies of 2018?
Okay, because I like to end on a happy note, I'm going to start with the worst.
Uh-oh.
The absolute worst movie I saw this year was The Nun. I'm
Ooh.
sorry. It was awful. The script
Nun
was
was rough.
horrible. The acting was horrible. It wasn't scary. Like, I could have, honestly, I didn't fall asleep during it, but I could have stopped it and been fine with not finishing it. It was horrible.
I completely agree. I did not like The Nun. I wanted to like The Nun. I love the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. But The Nun was really, really bad. So, on better note, what were some of your favorites of 2018 in the category of movies?
Okay, to maybe a surprise of our lovely viewers, one of my all-time favorite movies this year was not a comic book related movie. It was Won't You Be My Neighbor, the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Niagara Falls, that movie.
Oh, it was Niagara Falls, but in a good way. It was a happy tears, happy tears. Oh, it just brought back so many childhood memories, and just I could watch that movie over and over again. And he was just such a great guy, and I'm so glad that they got his story out there. It was so cool. And
really
most
was.
of the footage was him talking, because he had almost his entire life was recorded on film, and so they used all this old footage to tell his story. So it was just so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, guys. If you haven't seen Won't You Be My Neighbor, one of the best documentaries definitely
Ever.
of the year, if not top 5 of all time, in my opinion. I mean, it's got all the feels, that movie. Anything else really caught your eye in the world of movies this year?
Yeah, who could not say Infinity War?
Infinity War. Of course that's going to make the list.
I mean, there's so many other good movies that I would love to mention, but Infinity War, I mean, come on. I could walk by the television with that movie playing in the third act, and I have to sit and finish watching it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's not just a great comic book movie. It's not just one of the best comic book movies we've ever gotten. It's one of the best movies of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nominated for, like, Best Picture
I
in
hope
the
so.
Oscars.
That
I mean,
would
it's
be
got all the
amazing.
drama. It's got all the emotion. It's got
All the dramas.
stories and character building for Thanos. It's just an all-around fantastic movie, and it ends on such a sad note. It's the hero's journey of the villain, and you get to see Thanos go from start to finish and then win in the end.
So crazy.
And the fact that fans it's Marvel really doing a villain right for the first time.
Yeah,
Like,
no
fans
kidding.
actually sided with Thanos.
Yeah.
And that's an achievement rarely seen in comic book movies or any type
I
of
know.
movie.
I agree. That's why I picked it as one of my favorite movies of 2018.
All right. Well, I'm going
How
to go
about you,
ahead and do what you do. I'm going to start out with my worst.
Yeah.
And this, I have a few to choose from. Some honorable mentions are The Predator and
Okay.
Cloverfield Paradox, two very big honorable mentions of my least favorite movies. I didn't really like Halloween either,
Okay.
but my all-time worst movie of 2018, I hate to say it because I was kind of looking forward to this film, is Mortal Engines.
Oh, no.
I went and saw Mortal Engines in a theater by myself on like the second weekend of its release, if that's telling you something.
Right.
The movie tanked at the box office. I think it had a $150 million budget. It made $7 million in its opening weekend.
No. Well, the trailer looked great. It
looked
intrigued
cool.
me, but it didn't make me want to go run out and see the movie.
I mean, the
that's for
premise
sure.
for Mortal Engines is pretty awesome. It's in a post-apocalyptic future where countries have become roving machines,
Okay.
and countries go around eating other machines. Like London will just scoop up an entire city,
Interesting.
a roving city, and just devour it and take all of its people, take all of its technology,
Like Galactus?
spit out all. It's like Galactus, but the execution was really bad. It felt like a really poorly written young adult novel that was just so predictable.
Wow.
I mean, it was just the childlike predictability of this movie was just ridiculous. I almost fell asleep 3 times.
Oh, no.
Not good. But
And you were completely sober.
since you mentioned Infinity War and you mentioned Won't You Be My Neighbor, which are 2 of my all-time favorite movies of the year, I'm going to go ahead and say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Also one of the best
Absolutely
movies of the year.
crushed it. It was my favorite movie of the end of the year, which brought us Aquaman and all these wonderful films. Spider-Verse did what no other Spider-Man movie has really done and just excite people about not just the Peter Parker origin story, but all of the characters in the Spider-Man universe, and you left wanting so much more.
I agree.
Animation like no one has ever seen before.
Which, didn't you say Sony patented that?
Sony, right after the movie came out, they
so
patented
crazy.
that animation style. I don't know how you patent animation style.
Patent anything these days.
Yeah, they've patented it, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of animated films with that look coming out from other people.
We already know that Spider-Gwen's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, if I had to pick one other movie besides the ones that you mentioned, Bohemian Rhapsody
also
absolutely blew my mind, guys. We got to see an early screening of this way back in April. So we had to sit on it, couldn't say anything about it, how much we loved it until the movie came out. It's doing very, very well. It's still showing. It's still making money at the box office.
Yeah. And
Rami Malek absolutely crushed it. Everybody in this movie was spectacular. The music, where people are kind of poo-pooing on it is they don't like the fact that it doesn't really dive into the story of Freddie Mercury.
Which
but
is
what
crap.
I loved about it, it's a 2-hour rock concert.
Yeah.
You get to see amazing live performances, wonderful recordings of Queen throughout the years. You get to see how all the songs got made.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of emotion, you know, with Freddie and the band kind of doing their own thing at times, but it was just such a powerful
casting was amazing
film.
for that movie too. I mean, not only do these actors look exactly like the people they're portraying, but they can act.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen? It's pretty rare.
Yeah, and just seeing kind of the way they threaded in the creation and the performances of the song Bohemian Rhapsody was so great. You know, at the beginning of the movie, you see Freddie kind of playing it on the piano. Middle of the movie, you get to see the guitar solos as they're recording it.
Yeah.
And then they save the whole opening, Mama Just Killed a Man, for the Live Aid concert.
So cool.
So throughout the movie, you get to hear the whole song, but it's threaded in the movie start to finish. You never hear it start to finish, but if you just pick up on it, they show the little elements of this incredibly operatic song
I know.
throughout the film. It's so well done, so spectacularly done.
And it's probably one of the only movies, or one of the few movies on Rotten Tomatoes that has such a divide. Like the critics, I think it's like 30s or 40s,
Critics
but the viewers,
hated it.
it's in the
Viewers
90s.
love it.
It's like, what is wrong with these critics?
I don't
know.
understand. So guys, moving on to television.
Television.
Shauna, I'm gonna let you kick this one off again. You want to go best or worst?
I'm
What are some
going
of your
worst
best?
again
Going
because you
worst?
gotta end with the best, the absolute worst. Iron Fist season 2.
Oh man,
Didn't even finish watching it. It
I
was
don't think
that
you're
bad.
alone there.
It was that horrible. Like I felt like I had to force myself to watch each episode, and then I think we got through episode 6 or 7, and we just didn't even go back.
Was it an improvement over season 1 though?
No.
No. See, a lot of people are saying it's an improvement over season 1. I didn't really feel that it really was.
I didn't like season 1 either, but I actually finished it, so I feel like that's not an improvement if I can't even finish season 2.
Okay, what are some of your favorites of television?
Favorites.
2018?
Okay, sticking on the Netflix Marvel universe, Daredevil season 3.
Wow.
Absolutely loved it.
From a hate to love on Netflix
yes,
shows.
I know. So you got Wilson Fisk back, you got Vincent D'Onofrio, and one of the best characters he's ever played, in my personal opinion. He was on every show, every episode. I just wanted to binge watch it. So that's by far one of my favorites.
Couldn't agree more. You got another?
I do, and it's also on Netflix. The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, damn it, that was going to be mine.
Also binge watchable. Like every time an episode ended, you just had to watch the next one. It was like, oh no, I have to go to bed and go to work tomorrow.
I agree. That show was so bingeable. What was it, like 10 episodes?
Yeah, I think it was 10.
10 episodes, 10 hour-long episodes. You can just flow right from one to the other. Beautifully written.
Yep.
Again, the way they wove in the characters and the time jumping from the past to the present
So perfect.
was spectacular. If you haven't watched it, like Shauna, highly recommend The Haunting of Hill House.
I hope they come out with a second season. I don't know how they would do that, or just another, very much in the same realm as Horror Story, American Horror Story. Maybe they can do something else with
I
Hill
disagree.
House.
I hope they don't. I say just leave it.
Well,
Leave
no,
it.
not
It
with the
belongs
same
to the ages.
characters, but maybe with different characters. New family that comes to Hill House.
That's
I don't
true.
know. Anyway, how about you, Chuck? What are your best and worst TV
I think I'm going to start with my
shows?
best.
Okay.
And I got to go with a show that I always wanted but never knew I wanted, Cobra Kai. on YouTube Red, guys, if you haven't seen the joyous pleasure of Cobra Kai on YouTube, it's worth checking out.
I totally agree.
It was so much fun. Nobody saw this coming in their lifetimes. Was it cheesy? Yes.
It was absolutely cheesy.
Crappy? Yes. But was it just an enjoyable, fun watch to see
Yes.
Johnny and Daniel reuniting in very negative ways, and you actually to see that you like Johnny. Johnny was the hero of the story,
right.
and Daniel was kind of the jerk that he was the asshole, and Johnny was the guy you were really rooting for.
But the best part about cheesy shows and movies is that, in my opinion, when they know they're cheesy and they take advantage of it, like that's what made the show for me. Was they obviously made Danny this horrible, like, person that's, oh, I'm so successful, I have a car dealership.
LaRusso Auto.
He's not like a successful karate master. He's just a car
But he's such a
dealership
douchebag,
owner.
man. Like
Yeah.
all of his like billboards is him kicking. All of his commercials is him like doing karate, and every time you buy a car you get a bonsai tree. It's like
Right.
Daniel has become this rich douche, whereas Johnny has really kind of kept it real.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved Cobra Kai. My second pick for best TV of the year, Glow.
Glow season 2.
Absolutely loved Glow. I'm not sure if season 1 came out in 2018, but season 2 definitely came out in 2018. Man, I love this show. We were late to the game on Glow.
Yep.
The women, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Yep.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, yet another Netflix show.
So good, guys. If you're not watching Glow, check it out. Binge it. Another very binge-worthy
Absolutely.
show.
All of our shows are on streaming services.
That's interesting. All right, then I'll throw in Barry for honorable mention because that's on HBO.
Oh, that was also great.
Still paid. But yeah, Glow and Cobra Kai. Two fighting shows that I absolutely loved.
Love it. What's your worst, Chuck?
Oh, God, The Connors. Without a doubt. The reboot of Roseanne was so unwatchably horrible.
Oh, the laugh track and all.
Hated. Like, we, like most people, said, I just got to check out
The
one
first
episode and see what it's all about. And
Yeah.
it was so awful. It was so bad. Never go back to the well.
Yeah, I know.
I thought maybe it would be good.
I did too, but
But
the
how
fact
do you go
that-
back to that well of this white trash family in Illinois?
Yep.
Yeah, it was bad. Honorable mentions. I didn't really like Westworld Season 2.
Okay.
Nearly as much as Westworld
Yeah,
Season 1. House
agreed.
of Cards Season 6 was kind of
Ooh,
a
that was
turd.
pretty good.
And yeah, but The Connors, really the worst thing to happen to television.
I hear you.
in
It
a
was kind of
while.
surprising that they tried to continue it without Roseanne too.
They're doing it.
like, What? Yeah, it's just horrible.
Yeah, so
It's
bad.
crazy.
All right, moving on to best and worst comic books of 2018. Shauna, I'm going to stick with you.
And I'm going to stick with starting with my worst. I've got to say the new Jason Aaron's run of Thor.
Ooh, that's
I
sacrilege.
know, that might sting for
That's
a little people,
sacrilegious.
but man, I just did not get. I would think we read 3 or 4 issues, maybe 4 or 5, but
Mhm.
I just could not get into that whole underworld thing. The characters, I'm just like, I didn't dig it at all.
It was a rough way to start a series because
Yeah.
you got Mike Del Mundo's art, which is a love it or hate it kind of an art style.
Right.
I really like
actually
Mike Del
the
Mundo's art,
Yeah.
but to start out a comic book run in the underworld was just kind of strange.
Yeah. Weird weddings going on, and you brought in Hela and Surtur's daughter, and I wasn't digging it. I stopped reading it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason Aaron, I love you, but man.
Jason Aaron, I mean, his
Not
run of
liking
the Mighty
it.
Thor was so historically badass, and the
Which is
death
why
of the
we
Mighty
started reading
Thor.
this. Yeah.
The current run of Thor is going to lead into the War of the Realms.
Okay.
Big crossover mega event that's
Sure.
happening, I think, this summer.
Yeah.
But what were some of your favorites?
Okay, I'm going to give some credit to Jason Aaron because one of my favorites is the current run of the Avengers,
Oh,
which is
God.
freaking awesome. So I'm sorry, Jason. I'm giving you hate and love here, but
Ed McGuinness
Avengers,
art?
you're nailing it.
Ed
Yeah,
McGuinness's art was
McGuinness,
fantastic.
Absolutely. My other favorite, I have to go with the one shot of Witches.
Ooh,
That- oh,
what
man.
do you think of that?
That was so good. I'm so excited for Scott
Scott Snyder?
Snyder, not
I
Zack
do the
Snyder.
same thing all the time. I mix up Zach and Scott constantly.
And Jock, right?
Yeah.
The art. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that to come back out because that blew my mind. It got me so excited.
That was
for
a
the
wonderful little tease that came
I
out
know.
on Halloween Day.
Yeah, it was so great, and it came out of nowhere. Nobody knew that
Yeah.
was dropping. It was like, oh my gosh, we're getting a whole little thick book of witches, season 2 or ish. Yeah,
Mhm.
storyline 2. We can call it seasons, right?
All right, well, I'm going to, because I want to end on a high note, I'm going to go ahead and start with my worst comic book of the year. I love you, Donny Cates.
Oh, no.
Love you to death.
I know it's coming.
But the death of the Inhumans was such a letdown. I'm not going to say it sucked because it was beautifully illustrated. And it was nice to see. I mean, they had some interesting things going on in there. But what bugged me about it is you're building up the death of the Inhumans, and you don't kill off the Inhumans.
Spoiler alert.
You killed off all the Inhumans except for the royal family. The only Inhumans people know, they all survived the event. I'm not going to say it was good, but it was just kind of a letdown. I was expecting the death of all the Inhumans. I want to see the death of Medusa. I want to see the death of Black Bolt and Gorgon and all these guys, and these are all the people that survived.
Right. Chuck, I think you're being too nice. It was awful.
It wasn't very good. And I think Donnie might agree with me. I think he's doing the Lord's work over at Marvel, and they're like, well, here, try
Do this. I mean, yeah, God, how many Marvel books is he writing right now? Insanely amount.
A ton. Well, one of my favorites of the year was also a Donny Cates book, and it's Donny Cates' run of Thanos.
Oh, that was awesome, too.
That was absolutely spectacular. Yep. What's his name? Jeff, who's the illustrator on that one?
No.
Not Jeff Johns.
No, I said Shaw.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Shaw.
Yeah.
Spectacular illustration. Wonderful story of Thanos going into the future, meeting himself as King Thanos. He's the last surviving. He's killed everybody in the universe, so it's just him and Cosmic Ghost Rider.
I know.
In the future. Oh, God, it was so spectacular. Thanos by Donny Cates. Shauna, you want to open that?
I do. Sorry, not to interrupt. Thank you, R2.
That's how we do it on Chuckload Comics right there. So ending out the show, guys, my all-time favorite comic book run of 2018 is Charles Soule's run of Darth Vader. If you guys haven't picked up, it didn't start in 2018, but it ended in 2018. It's the greatest run of any Star Wars book ever written, in my opinion.
That's so
it's
cool.
So beautifully illustrated, so marvelously written. It's absolutely spectacular. And the final issue that just came out last week gave us some really amazing insight into Vader and Anakin Skywalker. You know, Anakin was, according to Star Wars Episode 1, was birthed from the midichlorians. There was not a father. He was just kind of born in Shmi's womb. Well, you find out in this comic book that's not the case. Actually, what happened was Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, who was also from Naboo, he planted the seed of Anakin. He compiled the midichlorians and put them into Anakin's mom's womb.
Wow.
So Sidious is the father of Anakin Skywalker. You find this out in this comic, and it's absolutely amazing.
I obviously haven't read this. I need to, though.
Start to finish, there's not a single bad issue of this comic. Every single issue is gold. It's beautifully illustrated. It's beautifully written.
Man.
And that's by far my pick of 2018,
Wow.
Darth Vader by Charles Soule.
25 issues, right?
It ended at issue 25.
And I'm sure they have the trades out, so
they do. I know that for a
absolutely
fact.
pick up the trades. And like you said, it just wrapped up, so I'm sorry, Chuck.
So there you have it, guys. 2018 comes to a close. That's our best and worst. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about your best and worst of movies, television, and comic books this year. I just want to close 2018 with a big thank you to all of you subscribers, everybody that's joined the Chuckload of Comics family. Huge thanks to the guys at Cold War Games. There they are. Timed that out perfectly. And a big thanks to all of our good friends on YouTube. I'm going to rifle off as many as I can think of. 2G1 Reviews. Been there from the very start. Love Ryan at 2G1 Reviews. Check all these people out on YouTube. Aaron at Screen Stars. Aaron Wilson over at Screen Stars. Everybody in the Comic Corps.
Yep.
Comic Corps. Find them on YouTube. Marvin's channel. Check out Marvin. Shauna. There's a lot of people I'm probably not thinking of right now.
I'm thinking, nope, you're nailing them all.
Fred Hall Direct Edition. Gomez the Comic Collector.
Bueller.
Comics with Bueller, another member of the Comic Corps. Guys, thanks a lot for making 2018 so spectacular. I think we started out the year with like 200 subscribers. We're closing out the year a little above 800. So what a year for Chuckload of Comics. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of the Chuckload of Comics family. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Join us here every single Sunday for comic book reviews, nerd news, movie talk, everything happening in the world of fandom. We try to break it down from start to finish every single Sunday. So have a fantastic, happy new year. Shauna, you got anything to say?
Happy New Year, and
All right.
thanks for subscribing.
All right, guys. Have a Happy New Year. We'll see you here in 2019.